Something I hear fairly often is, okay, Sarah, this whole like not dieting, living a balanced, healthy lifestyle, taking care of yourself, all that stuff sounds great. But I mean, come on, don't you really need to count calories? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you've been watching my videos for a little while now, then you know that something I talk about pretty frequently is how we don't want to be on a diet or counting our calories or weighing and measuring every single bite of food that we eat. And in addition to talking about this in my videos, it's also something that I talk about when I'm speaking to groups. You know, a lot of times I do get invited in to talk to different groups about health and nutrition, and this is a topic that comes up a lot. But whether I'm talking about it in a video or in a real life conversation, a lot of times I will get some pushback on this. And you know, that's totally fine because I definitely encourage questions and discussion and clarification, but I thought, you know, if this is something that's coming up again and again, then we should sit down and talk about it in a video. So the gist of this question is usually something like this. Okay, I get, you know, it's important to balance your plate and eat a balanced, healthy diet and all that kind of stuff. But still, I mean, you can't just eat an unlimited amount of food. You can't just eat whatever you want because it's there. That's not healthy. We don't want to be overeating or eating more food than our body needs. So what's to stop that from happening? How can you make sure that you're getting the right amount if you're not counting or weighing or tracking? And I think this question really shows just how much dieting and diet mentality can become a part of the general culture. And I see two main ideas in this one question. So let's break it apart. The first idea is that we know how much food or nutrients our body needs. And this simply isn't true. I mean, we have general ranges for like how many calories the average person needs, or how many grams of carbs, or how much vitamin E, or whatever. But those are all generalizations. These numbers aren't personalized. Everybody is different. And yes, I do mean different as far as, you know, we get different amounts of physical activity or sleep, or we have different stressors in our life. But I also mean like just inherently our bodies don't all need exactly the same thing. And yes, of course, there is a general way that all of our bodies are put together and the way things work. But what I'm talking about is the exact amounts of certain nutrients. It varies from person to person the same way that height varies. We're not all the same height, and we wouldn't expect it to be that way. And the same thing is true when it comes to the nutrients that our body needs. And even for each person, these things are going to fluctuate from day to day and month to month and season to season, depending on what else is going on in your life. And just like we don't know exactly what every single body needs, we also don't know the nutrients that are in every single food. So you might have seen generalizations like this food has this number of calories, or this much fat, or this much protein, or this much vitamin C, but all of those things are just generalizations too. So one variety of apple isn't going to have the exact same nutrients in the exact same amounts as another variety. And even within the same variety, you know, if that apple is grown in Washington State, or that apple is grown in Virginia, or just in a different orchard, even pretty close by, those apples are going to have different nutrients because the soil is different, the environment is different, the conditions are different, and all of that stuff comes into play here. The second idea I see in this question is that if we don't have some calculator or authority to tell us when to stop eating, when we've had enough, then we will just eat and eat and eat and eat with no end in sight. Because I mean, what would stop you? Well, I'll tell you what would stop you. It's this little thing called feeling full. And maybe that sounds silly or simplistic or even insulting to you that I'm saying that, but at the same time, the fact that we're having to talk about this, I think really says a lot. Because I mean, it either means that we are at a place where we can't even trust our own bodies to tell us when we are hungry and need more food, or when we have had enough and we're full. Or it means that we're in a place where we're so disconnected from our hunger and our fullness cues that we can't even tell. We're not paying attention to our food at all and what our body is saying to us because we're focused on a million other things, or maybe we're so used to someone or something telling us when to eat and when not to eat that we don't even know how to listen to what our body is saying anymore. Now you might be thinking, no, Sarah, I know when I'm full, I just have the desire to eat past fullness, and I will eat until I'm uncomfortable unless I have some sort of boundaries or guidelines to keep me in check. And I think this also comes from dieting and diet mentality. Our body definitely has the ability to make us eat more food than we need in that time frame. Because if you think about it, it's a survival thing, right? If we're in an environment where food is scarce or irregular, then we would want to be able to eat a little extra to help us make it through those times when we don't have food around. And so often for a person who's on a diet or who has dieted, they will find themselves in this kind of pendulum swing of restrict and binge and restrict and binge. And this is all part of our body's natural mechanisms. When we are restricting, our body is gonna start flipping those biological switches and saying, hey, we need more food. So we need to be hungrier, we need to have more cravings, more desire for food, so that we will get up and go find the food, and when we do find it, we will eat a lot of it to make sure that we can make it through. So if you're fortunate enough to live in the world of grocery stores and gas stations and vending machines, and you have this abundance of food all around you, and you have the resources to acquire that food, you're not in a feast or famine situation. So don't create it for yourself. And look, I'm not saying that it's easy or that you can just flip a switch and be out of the diet mentality. It is tricky because a lot of this is such a part of the general culture. But the first step is being able to recognize it. So recognizing it in yourself, recognizing it in the world around you. And once you can do that, then you can start working on it and breaking it down. And that's how you get freedom from dieting. And let me know in the comments, what do you think about this whole thing? Because I make these videos because I want to talk to you about it. I want to hear what you have to say. And I hope you like this video. If you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and healthy recipes, then make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you're loving the free info here, but you're finding that you need something more personalized, don't forget that I do offer one-on-one nutrition coaching and counseling. So if you're interested in working with me, just let me know and we can get that set up for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.